Hello everyone, welcome back to the Podsquad. Today me and Will will be talking about Death Stranding. So the second trailer came out.
Yeah.
Still have no fucking idea what's going on.
Language.
Shut the fuck up! But yeah, so the second one came out, I think it was both the Game Awards and PSX. So there were two versions that were released. One of them was just very atmospheric, screamy sounds, and the other was using a song called Easy Way Out by Low Roar. Same people who did the first trailer music as well, which is quite interesting.
Surreal. I mean, it's definitely a pattern that they're showing with their trailers and just general teaser content. But it starts off appearing like a World War II.
Yeah, I definitely got a world sort of vibe from war.
With the clothing. Guillermo del Toro, who was
assumed Guillermo.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The star of the trailer, so to speak, is wearing. And he's carrying a strange object anyway. He's going through this sort of ruined city, which has a very sort of, if you ask me, World War II feel. He goes into this tunnel and then sort of is frightened out again by something. It's not really
there is a point you tell the trailer where he sort of he turns around, he's scared by something behind the camera.
Yeah.
And before we go any further, I just want to mention there was a little detail people picked up on. On his suit there was this badge. It had sort of the US, sort of map of the US on it. It had a web coming out from, I think it was Washington it came out from. So it might be some sort of organisation that was there.
He then looks up on top of the bridge where a tank that is a lot more modern, considering what the original part of the setting was portraying, drives past, followed by soldiers. Now, the strangest thing about this is covering the tank seems to be the intestines of some very large monster.
I thought it must be sort of whale intestines or something. Your reaction was priceless. When you saw it, you're like, what the fuck? Yeah, and you can tell from the back umbilicals coming out from the soldiers as well.
Yeah, and they were getting connected to the tank and stuff like that.
Kojima said the game involves strings and ties.
Yeah.
You can really see that with this one.
And
so
he also, what I drew from that is he also said it's going to be entirely cooperative. Now, quite a lot of the time there's been a baby featured, and obviously with the umbilical cord theory, the strings and the baby, I think it will actually be about a character that's being played and a baby which will be connected by an umbilical cord, and one person will be the baby and the other will be...
Yeah, I mean, it always seems very connected, the character always has some connection to something of some kind. Now, in terms of these connections, what I found very interesting, of course, we were introduced to presumably the antagonist of the game, which was Mads Mikkelsen's character. And as we see most people connect, he had connections to dead bodies. But they were reanimated, they were walking around, they were talking, well not talking, but presumably, but they were probably skeletal people.
You couldn't see at first because they're in the dark, and then they're also wearing sort of
high military armor.
Yeah, military gear and stuff, but when they moved into the light you could really see. When he took his mask off, it sort of burnt away. And when the umbilical cords were detached from these soldiers, they sort of seemed to burn as well, which it was quite a large theme of sort of stuff burning and a lot, but not like a regular fire. It was sort of a very weird reddish colour.
And I'm not sure whether or not because of course we've seen that bringing people back to life is clearly a thing. We've seen dead people reanimated, being controlled by these umbilical cords. Is it going to be some kind of technology they've invented, or some kind of magic, or it could be anything?
The other thing, though, is Guillermo del Toro's character is carrying an object, as I said before. Halfway through the trailer, he plugs something into this object, and it turns out to be a baby in a sort of artificial womb, so to speak. And after he does this, oil, or at least I believe it's oil, it's not entirely clear whether it's water or oil, but considering it's sort of dark and quite thick, I presume it's oil, sort of suddenly coats the floor and comes up to his ankles, and he notices it. It's not something that's sort of not there, it's something that is definitely within the world that's being created. And this isn't the first time we've seen oil, because Norman Reedus in the original trailer suddenly has oil in his hands when the baby disappears, and the baby also turns into oil. Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy. You see as well on the I can't remember which part, and when he was going in, sort of panning into the suit, you could see when it cut onto one of the brick arteries, you could see the black oil hands.
Yeah.
and clearly they're going to have. I think that's going to be not the main antagonist or protagonist, but I think that's going to have like a third party player, like whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
It might even be like the co-op playable character. We don't know. That could be like the oil hand movements of this thing, but it's from what we've seen.
Yeah.
It's going to be confusing.
The other thing we also saw is there was a doll in like a child's baby doll in the trailer, and it floats in the oil, and it turns over, and we see a scar that's been stitched up on its sort of stomach, where
sort of the abdomen.
Yeah, the abdomen, which is the same place where Norman Reedus' character had a scar in the original trailer, and this doll is sort of glowing a flashing red, but it's like the red of the fire. It's not like. It's not like a flaming colour, it's more a sort of life force energy.
There's an argument in that trailer as well, what actually happened. Did that doll just float down the tunnel and find Mads Mikkelsen, or was it actually on an umbilical cord itself being dragged as like kind of like a proximity sensor? So it picked up the Del Toro character right sort of in that, and that's why
well, yeah, he did seem to know, because he
seems like he said be quiet, go forward.
Yeah.
So it could be he was going to hunt down this baby.
Yeah,
babies seem very important in
definitely.
And I remember I did hear a theory that I'm not sure if this was actually confirmed, or just hogwash of what's actually going to happen. But they said that it was a world crisis of basically the birth rate dropped to near to zero, so there's no one being born anymore. And with wars being fought all the world, they no longer had any soldiers coming in.
Yeah.
So they resorted to basically bringing dead soldiers back to life. That's, of course, we all do medical stuff, but they're still hunting for these babies to use in whatever it is, like maybe experiments to try and work out new ways of bringing humans back into the world, because there's pretty much no babies left.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting.
I could see that with the sort of the theme that's going on, but obviously at this point it's way too early to tell for definite.
I mean, everything's still up in the air. We've only got a few things confirmed right now. I mean, I believe it said 2018 release window, so it could be any point in 2018. We'll probably find out a proper release date next year.
Yeah.
The engine's been confirmed, which is the engine from Guerrilla, which is the same engine being used as Horizon Zero Dawn, which is weird because I can't see that being a co-op engine. I
don't actually know anything about that engine, I must say.
Unless it was online co-op, so had two people, but maybe a local as well. Who knows? But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, there is one key point from the original trailer that has just sort of suddenly disappeared, which is the black hole equations that runs Norman Reedus' dog tags. There was a huge amount about that, which is just
suddenly completely, and that's kind of been removed kind of almost, because we were in a very mysterious environment in the first trailer. This one we've seen proper cities built up, so clearly there's something going on, but I can't see them being in the same general universal area, if you know what I mean.
No, they seem to be completely different places.
I'm sure we'll find out much more in the coming months. Of course, Kojima's sort of stated now everything's in motion. We're going to start hearing so much more about this game in the next coming months. Hopefully, maybe we get around to sort of February, March time, he'll start giving us some more details. But apart from that, that's all we have time to talk for. So I think I just lost my English.
I'll finish this up.
Okay.
This has been the Podsquad talking about Death Stranding. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, or subscribe.